Hello, and welcome to Year of the Vampire.
I really hope that this doesn't pick up the fireworks the neighbors are shooting off. It's almost 10 p.m. I don't know why they're doing this now.
Anyways, this week we watched Vampire Hunter D.
I thought you were going to say Hunter Vampire D again.
Nope, just once. Once was enough.
Anyway, you knew that this movie was based on a series of novels, right?
You told me about that.
Yeah, there's like a freaking million of them by this point, and I think they're still actually being written and published.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. All right, but let's get into our plot points. Speaking of plot points, discussion points, oh my god, the plot.
Yeah.
So, it's the year 12,000, and the world is overrun by monsters and mutants and basically run by vampires. You know, a very simple plot, something you hear in every movie these days. Doris, a young farm girl, is out protecting the fields at night. She gets attacked and bitten by basically the lead vampire of the area. And so she seeks out D and hires him to, just go murk the freaking vampire.
Yeah, because it's supposed to, prevent her from changing.
Well,
right?
I think it goes along the rules that vampires usually do. If you kill the vampire that bit you, you go back to being human.
Fair enough. So, yeah, it's a pretty straightforward idea. And,
I don't know. I just like the plot. I like the idea that the stories are set in the year 12,000 something and are just about mutants and cyborgs and shit along with actual magic.
I was about to say initially, because it didn't really start out as apparent. I thought it was going to be more like the 1800s or some crap, but then you start realizing there's technology.
Yeah, because she pulled out a freaking laser rifle.
Robot horses.
With a bayonet for some reason. Why did the laser rifle have a freaking bayonet?
Why not? Something gets close, you gotta stab it.
I don't think anything's getting close to you if you have a laser rifle. Acting. What did you think of the acting in this movie? Personally, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
The movie is from the 80s, and it's an anime movie, and we watched the dub, so you'd think that it would be cheesier or worse than it actually was.
Yes.
But I thought it was pretty solid. Everyone did a good job, except one character I didn't like was Ray, the gray-haired dude with the cool double-bladed weapon. I don't know. I didn't think he did a bad job. I just don't think the voice fit his character.
Fair enough, but yeah, considering it was made in the 80s and English dubs were really not very well done for animated stuff.
Dude, sometimes they're still not done well today.
But you can tell they really didn't try in the early 90s and late 80s.
I mean, I think they tried. The point is that they just failed.
They did really good in this.
Sound and music.
It's good.
In a lot of scenes, I don't remember a lot of music. I think it was just kind of silent for the most part.
Yeah, and
it was scene set up in transition kind of music.
Yeah, you get mostly just some sound effects to kind of fill in the air that makes it sound more natural. Then there's some synthy parts in the battle scenes, and that was about it.
I mean, I appreciated that. The sound and music, it was kind of a less is more kind of thing.
Yeah, it didn't stick out. It did what it needed to do, and it blended well, so.
Cinematography. Obviously, the
animation was pretty good.
Yeah, I like the animation. Obviously, it has the issues that you're going to find in older animated movies, where some things can seem a little stiff.
God. To be fair, the Hunter D dude, he is kind of just a still person in general. Kind of fit his whole quiet mentality.
I'm just saying, a lot of the time in older anime movies, characters can come off as stiff at times, and same with the action scenes, because that's the other thing. I do remember seeing at least a few reused animations.
Oh, when the kid was shooting at
and
the
shots.
Cloud.
Yeah.
The vampire cloud.
But again, that comes along with being an anime movie from the 80s. You're gonna, or just animated in general. They didn't have as big of budgets in animated movies, so reusing animations and cells was actually pretty common in all animation, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't bad though. The only thing I found mildly distracting, or maybe it's just a small nitpick for me is the kind of intense flashing on some parts.
Oh, yeah, they did have the...
That happened a few times.
I mean, I get it's supposed to be like kind of, oh man, this is really intense and suspenseful, but I didn't really appreciate the flashing white across the freaking screen.
That's probably like the only thing I could really say that actually.
Unfortunately, they only did that a few times in the movie.
It wasn't very often at all. So.
But the times that it did happen, it was kind of annoying.
It was like, damn, stop. But nah, it's
all right. Well, actually, you mentioned the animation before, but that actually I think should go into special effects.
Yeah, being a cartoon, you don't really have too much.
So, what do you think of like the animation, like how things were designed and how it was drawn? I liked the detail in a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
there was a lot of really detailed gore in the movie.
Oh my god!
Oh, like when the green spider dude got cut in half. Like it was only like a second or two, but like you could make out every part of his freaking insides.
Dude, even when the spiders came out of him, that was so and crawled on that guy's face.
Okay, that's actually what part of what I meant by there were like kind of still things, because they just kind of clamped onto his face as he was just standing there with his mouth open.
There was a lot of damn spiders, though. I'm not gonna lie. That was. I don't hate spiders, but I don't think I'd appreciate that.
But yeah, I really like the animation in the movie. I like the kind of aesthetic that it's going for. I liked all of the kind of like burnt up and wrecked shit, because this kind of is a kind of post-apocalyptic sort of thing, or the previous world that existed, 10,000 years in the past no longer actually exists, and we actually do get to see some remnants of that.
Yeah, they were like walking around on some buried underground area, and the D guy stepped on an old rail system and it just crumbles.
I liked that.
That was really good detail.
Yeah.
Stuff like that it's really nice.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if steel could last 10,000 years.
Even underground, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
yeah, overall, I liked the movie.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty entertaining.
You'd recommend it to people?
Yes.
All right, cool.